Number of Kiwis listening to podcasts has grown by more than 107% in the last year, and it's hard to go a week without someone mentioning the P word. Podcast. We at News Hub are producing them. The Obamas have just signed a podcasting deal with Spotify, and even the ACT Party is launching one. Who's listening? They're everywhere, assuming you know how to download them. But not to worry if you don't, as Gorilla Tech CEO Paul, the podcast Spain, knows how, and he joins us. Paul, g'day.
Good morning, Dave.
Is it hard or easy? What's the deal?
It's actually really, really easy. So for those listening in, pull out your smartphone right now. If you're on an Android smartphone, then there's a Google Podcasts app that's built in.
I've seen that, yep.
And on iPhone, there's the Apple Podcasts app. So very simple. There are lots of other ways you can listen, Spotify and third-party apps, but those are the easiest ones, just the podcast app.
And what's a podcast? For people that don't know what a podcast is, I mean, it's a bit like putting the Walkman on in 1983, isn't it, walking down the road? Or?
Well, we think of radio as the main audio other than direct music that people have listened to. It's sort of taking radio type content into the modern age, but adding to it a whole lot of other variations. So, of course, there are podcasts that are produced by the likes of MediaWorks. In fact, you can listen to AM show, catch up, but there's a whole lot of new content down to very small niches. So anything you're interested in, there will be a podcast about that. When I started listening to podcasts, I realised I was turning my car into my mobile university because I had an hour a day commuting. So really anything you want is there.
How long are they, and what do you sort of recommend for a podcast to be? Is sort of less more when it comes to podcasts?
There's massive variety. So the shortest one I listen to is about two to 3 minutes each day.
What's that?
That is a daily tech news show. And I listen to that at home through our Amazon Alexa, so voice assistant. In the morning, we ask it for a news update, and it basically just jumps through a whole series of very short podcasts.
So I'm catching like a headline service.
The news on podcasts, the news on business, all of these things just come through.
Oh, the rolling shopping list. Is there a app or something for this?
There are a bunch of apps getting onto shopping lists. Yes. You can ask your Amazon Alexa to keep a shopping list for you, or you can use apps like Wunderlist, Todoist. There's a bunch like that.
Because we sort of promised people we'd talk about that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your favourite podcast at the moment, though?
Pod News is one that I listen to most days. That's again a very short one. That's more for people that are involved in the podcasting industry, like I am. But there's so many, and that's the great thing about podcasts is whatever niche you're into, you will find a podcast.
Good man, Paul. Lovely to see you. Appreciate your time. And